How's it going, everyone? I know that we've been covering a lot of digital deals recently with all the PlayStation Store sales running right now, but there's a lot of great physical deals available right now on Amazon, GameStop, and yeah, want to go over some of those. A lot of great stuff, so let's just get right into it. Let's cover some deals over at GameStop. Tales of Arise, $14.99. I mean, this is just a ridiculously good deal. I believe the MSRP for Tales of Arise has dropped to $19.99, so it's not like this game is even holding up in value that hard anymore. Kind of wild to think about it, but this game is, like, what, 16 months old at this point? It's crazy how quickly time flies, but, yeah, GameStop has the MSRP listed at $19.99 and it's down to $14.99 right now. Amazon's still selling this game for like $30 or $40, so I don't even know, but you can regularly find this for around $20 to $25. $15 is pretty rare to find it down this low, and it's obviously an excellent game. It was one of my favorite games of 2021. Probably like this, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and Resident Evil Village would make up my top 3 for that year, but yeah, great game, great story. Not my favorite cast of characters in a Tales of title. Like, I still think, you know, characters like Luke and Yuri are like the GOATs when it comes to Tales of games, but you still have a pretty solid roster and a cast of characters here. Visually, it is a step up from the other Tales of games as well, and from a technical standpoint, I think it looks great. Story is compelling, $14.99, great buy here. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is down to $24.99. Wild to think about that it's been a year since this game came out, but it's a game that obviously a lot of people have their gripes with, and me as well. The gameplay was great. The story was like absolutely nonsensical and like kind of comedic at times. Like, maybe nonsensical is a little bit of a stretch, but like, yo, you can't get into the narrative of this game in my opinion. But the gameplay is really good, the soundtrack's solid, and even though I say like the narrative isn't like that engaging, the ending is really well done. I will say that the ending is really well done, and how it came together at the end, I was like, oh, that's a clever way to tie everything together. And you know, I wouldn't say drop $60 on it, but $25 I think is a good price. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy titles, I think you're gonna enjoy it from an aesthetic standpoint, the soundtrack and things like that. There are a variety of different difficulty options as well. If you're not a big fan of like the Souls-like challenging elements, you can you know, lower the difficulty if you do want. I won't judge you, but it's not like this game is overly challenging either at the standard difficulty. $25 I think is a good buy. Do bear in mind that there is some DLC for this game that is out, so yeah, if you want the entirety of the game, you will have to drop a little bit more. Next up, Amazon deals. Dying Light 2 Stay Human, $24.99 on this. Now, if you've waited this long to pick up Dying Light 2, you can make the argument, hey, why don't I just wait for the super duper deluxe edition that includes all the additional content? Yeah, you can do that, but if you have been eyeing Dying Light 2 for a while, if you enjoyed the first game and you want some more great parkour gameplay, Dying Light 2 is not a bad pickup. It's just not as good as the first game, and I think everybody that played both titles is going to agree with me on that. However, it still has a lot of things to like. I think the parkour gameplay is still incredibly enjoyable. I think from a combat standpoint, it's a little bit of a step down from Dying Light 1, still enjoyable in its own right. If they took Dying Light 2's like parkour gameplay, just dropped it in an open world and let that be the entirety of the game, I think that would be a game that I would really, really enjoy, because that was probably the most enjoyable aspect of the game for me. The parkour, as well as just the general exploration. I think those elements were a lot of fun. I think for $25, it's a good buy. But yeah, I'm not gonna say don't wait for the super duper complete edition. But, you know, again, if you've been wanting to pick it up for a while, I don't think it's a bad pick at this price. Next up, New Tales from the Borderlands Deluxe Edition. This is $19.99. Why this is a really good buy? It's not necessarily New Tales from the Borderlands is a blowaway game, but this also includes Tales from the Borderlands, the original, which I think with Tales from the Borderlands, some things went down where the game was pulled off the PlayStation Store and Steam and all those platforms for a while. Then it came back, but also when it came back, it kind of had like a heightened price point, so it was like a little bit weird. I don't want to say I'm making that up, but I feel like that happened when everything went down with Telltale. But yeah, it's back available, obviously included with this edition of the game. Tales from the Borderlands is awesome. New Tales from the Borderlands ain't that great, but you know, $19.99 for it isn't bad at all. And if you're a fan of like the Borderlands aesthetic, the comedy, it's not a bad buy. I just wouldn't say, you know, drop $50, which is what the deluxe edition initially was. $20 I think is a pretty decent pickup. Next up, we got Digimon Survive, 55% off for $26.87. I really dug Digimon Survive because I knew what to expect going into playing this game. It is a more visual novel style of a game. There is some tactics-based gameplay, but you're primarily going into this game for the storytelling and the narrative and that visual novel style. If you don't like visual novels, that's a large portion of what Digimon Survive is, so that's not gonna click with you. But if you're okay with that, the tactical gameplay is good, and the story is actually incredibly compelling, and I thought it was really, really engaging, and I'm a big Digimon fan. Like, growing up, Digimon was my jam. Like, I like Pokemon, but from a television show and an entertainment medium standpoint, Digimon is always what I enjoyed more. And you got Agumon as one of the pillar characters in this game. So, like, obviously, if you're nostalgic with Digimon, you're definitely gonna vibe with this game. I think for this price, it's pretty good. $60 may have been a little bit pricey, but $26.87, I think, is a pretty solid pickup. Next up, Marvel's Midnight Suns Enhanced Edition, $49.99 for this. I mean, it's 29% off, and given the game just came out, 2 months ago, thought that was worth a mention. A game that I definitely need to play more of, done by Firaxis, who have done a great job with tactics-based titles, and Midnight Suns was really well received from a critical standpoint. Unfortunately, from a commercial standpoint, kind of didn't do all too well, so goes to show not everything Marvel related is going to absolutely click. I think, dropping Marvel within a tactics-based gameplay may have not been something that was going to cater towards, let's say, the masses, but from who played the game, it seemed like a lot of people did really enjoy it, so $49.99, there you go with that. Want to give some mention to some Square Enix titles. Let's just go through all of these real quick. Star Ocean: The Divine Force, Valkyrie, Elysium, and Diofield Chronicle, all 42% off, down to $34.99. These were three kind of more notable second-tier Square Enix JRPGs that dropped late last year. Star Ocean: The Divine Force, I think, is a good game. It's definitely still, like, comfortably into that second tier of JRPGs below the Final Fantasies of the world. I really dug this game from a gameplay standpoint. I think that was really enjoyable. Wasn't crazy about some of the narrative aspects and the characters. I never have really vibed with the characters in Star Ocean. Even when you go back to the earlier games, like, I think Star Ocean, as far as JRPGs go, hasn't had, like, the best roster of characters, in my opinion. I'm not saying the characters are bad or anything, but I still don't find them all too compelling in Divine Force, but from a gameplay standpoint, thought this game was really good. I think $35 is a great price for this. Valkyrie Elysium, an okay action RPG. I think narratively, the game isn't that great. You don't have, like, that engaging of a main character either. I think the action gameplay is fun. I think the soundtrack is fairly decent. Those are probably the star elements of the game. I have to say, technically, this game didn't even look that great on PS5. I know it's a cross-gen game, but nonetheless, I think $35 is a decent price. Diofield Chronicle, this is a game that some people absolutely did not like. I think I liked it a lot more than a lot of people. I found, like, that whole politics storyline, yes, it was a little bit hard to follow with how much was going on, and a lot of it was, like, kind of told to you very, very quickly. But I thought a lot of it was super intriguing. I think the soundtrack was rather good. The gameplay is probably going to be the most divisive element of this game. Like, even if you play this game on the hardest difficulty, you can cheese your way through it, and it's not, like, too difficult at all. I'm not crazy about strategy RPGs, so, like, I was like, you know what? I can enjoy the game, and even though it's not super challenging, I mean, I'm not super into strategy RPG, so I was having fun with it, and again, I found the game interesting from a narrative standpoint. Thought the ending was pretty well done, and $35, I think, is a pretty good buy for Diofield Chronicle. Check it out if it's been on your radar for a while. As always, links to all of these deals will be in the description box below. If you've been eyeing up some physical deals, I think these are some pretty solid ones. Tales of Arise, obviously, no-brainer, that's a great one. Dying Light 2, I think at that price point, we're getting to a price range where I'm comfortable in recommending that game, even though we know that a, complete edition at some point will be coming. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.